Hi there, I'm Asher Matthew, and I'm one of the co-founders of Partnership Leaders. Whether you're a new member or a prospective member, I want to thank you for taking some time with us. Now, before we can talk about how do you get the most value from your Partnership Leaders membership, let's first understand what is Partnership Leaders, what is value, how do you get it, and then what are some next steps. So when we started, I looked at the term technology partnerships on Google, found 4.5 billion results and 0 places for partnership leaders, the leaders of the teams of partnerships to go to. And so we started on a journey to focus on the professional and personal success of these leaders. And we had a hypothesis that if we were to make them successful, they would make their team successful, and they would spend time on cultivating future leaders. And from there, we learned that we also needed to focus on the companies that employ them, and we also need to focus on the tech companies that are creating technologies for them. And so that's the journey we started on. Now, when we talk about value, immediately we realized there was 2 types of value. One was advice. Partnership leaders needed advice. And so we said, for the money that we charge, which, by the way, the founders of this community do not take any money out of the community. And so what we said was, we're going to focus on returning as much value as we possibly can, but at the very least, we need to figure out how to return 10x value for what you pay for, right? And so one of the things to think about is if you were to look for advice for best practices or for situations to handle at your work, or even just market research, right? You would normally go to firms like AlphaSense or AlphaSites or GLG, and then those companies would charge you upwards of $1,000 for an hour's worth of consulting. And so what we have done is we've created an environment where the best of the best partnership leaders come together and help each other. And so we believe that for that cost of an hour of GLG's time, we are going to give you a whole year's of access. And so that's what you get with your membership, is access to advice. And we did a survey and we found that 91% of members reported making a better decision after having a conversation in the community. Actually, some people built their entire partner programs by asking questions. Here's one example on the screen, as you may have actually seen. The other one that is interesting is connections. And so we also said we would return 10x value for what you paid for in the form of connections. And so now we're at a stage where people will go to LinkedIn, they will take a look at a person they want to speak with at a partnered company, and then they'll come to Partnership Leaders, the Slack community, and they will search for that person. If they exist, they'll just go directly DM them. And everybody that's in Partnership Leaders today committed to helping each other. And so those connections are extremely meaningful. Also, if, for example, the person does not exist in our Slack community, we are able to find through all the different people who we have in the community's connections, the right person at the right company, and then make that connection. Now, these are just 2 examples, but we have much, much, much more to offer. And so if we take a look at the full feature set of Partnership Leaders, I went ahead and bucketed them by use case. So if you wanted to ask a question about something that you're experiencing, or you wanted to look for industry updates, or you wanted to look for market updates, right? You can use our Slack, right? If you are looking for a mentor, or you want to meet new people, or you just want to be matched with another person with similar interests or similar problems, we have a feature called Meetsy. If you want to build your personal brand, something that we highly recommend people do, because you want to be viewed as a leader by the market, then we can help you build your personal brand, and we will interview you, or we will feature you in spotlights. If you want to become a thought leader, we can help you write blogs, and we can have you participate in some of our virtual events. Now, oftentimes, the leaders of these teams are looking for tools and services that can help scale their team's function. And so for that, we created the ecosystem catalog. It's a resource where you can find the tools and the services that have helped other people in the community. And so everything that's on that catalog is tried and proven. And so I'll come back to the partnership leaders investments in 1 second. But if you wanted to meet with other people or other members in your city or even in your country, we have the directory. We're super proud that we're finally able to have a conference. And if you wanted to connect with people in person and meet with other thought leaders at an industry conference, we have a conference called Catalyst. Outside of that, if you just want the best of the content from the community and within a month, we have our top content newsletter that goes out. If you wanted to get some, I would say, fun content around partnerships that is not like B2B SaaS or tech oriented, we have our a newsletter called PLDR, which has some memes in it and some amazing content around that features partnerships that are not just tech oriented and other things that are happening in the market. So we believe with all of these things, we have given you a really good feature set to focus on your personal professional success. Now, if you wanted to focus on your personal success, we introduced Partnership Leader Investments. And Partnership Leader Investments is there to help you understand how do you become a better investor, because we believe with that, you can be on a path to financial freedom, which is ultimately what all personal success is about. And so Partnership Leaders Investments, we have done a number of investments, and we always work with an institutional investor so that we get access to quality investments. Now, the reason why we introduced this feature is because if you were to go and want access to those investments with these institutional investors, you would have to pay upwards of $100,000 or $250,000 to join that fund and have access to those quality investments. By the virtue of our connections, we are able to get into these quality investments, and you can invest as little as $1,000 or $5,000. But more importantly, you can learn how to become an investor with a community who's also focused on personal success. So with this featured features, I believe we have an extremely awesome competitive offering in the marketplace, which is focused on your professional and your personal success. Now, what happens is some folks have been with us since the beginning, and some folks are just joining us, right? And so as I looked at the different members in the community with us, I see beginners, I see folks at the intermediate journey and the part of the journey, and then I see some advanced folks, right? These are the expert users. And so what I've realized is that the beginners, they go and test all of the features. And then as they become seasoned, then they start to narrow down their features. And then they'll look, some folks will be at a point where they want to meet a mentor, or they want to meet new people in a specific region because they're looking to expand in that region. Some people just want to have a good connection in real life. And so they'll go and join some of our regional channels and then go meet people in their countries or their cities. But then at the advanced level, you're an expert user. You're saying, hey, I will go in and review some of the conversations that are happening and participate as I have time, but I really care about market updates. I really care about questions that I want to ask, or I want to hire people, or maybe I'm looking for a job. And then, of course, partnership lead investments is another way towards financial freedom, and maybe that's all that you want. So we are finding all types of all members, but more importantly, people are sticking with us year over year over year because they want to be on this journey with us as we create a much bigger community, which then brings quality individuals together that are focused on their personal and their professional success. And by virtue of that, they'll help everybody else. And so that's what I'm seeing in our member journeys. As a next step, I would love for you to follow the Partnership Leaders Company page on LinkedIn. It's one place that because you are already using LinkedIn, if you like our page, you'll actually be able to get some of our updates there. If you're a member, thank you for being a member, and thank you for joining us. I would love for you to add partnership leaders as a role on your LinkedIn profile, it actually helps increase your credibility. And funny enough, we had one person who reached out to us and said, hey, because I listed the role, my new company wants to check references. And so would you be a reference? And that was a super proud moment for us because we could help that person or that individual get much closer to the job that they wanted. Write a post about how glad you are that there's a resource for partnership professionals on LinkedIn. We have a much longer journey to go and a much bigger community to build, but we won't be able to get there if we don't tell other people. And word of mouth, as you know, is the best referral. And we should all feel proud of this community that we've created, or if you're a new member or prospective member are going to create with us. And so I would love for you to go write a post on how glad you are that there's a resource for partnership leaders and partnership professionals on LinkedIn, and maybe even tag 2 friends in it so that they may know about this amazing resource. Then always use the hashtag partnerships for posts. And if you do that, tag partnership leaders in all your posts, because when you tag partnership leaders, we have an amazing social team that will amplify your message, help your personal brand, get your message out there, and amplify you. We have an amazing Slack channel. There's no noise. We are extremely particular about what people, if people are soliciting, we will actually kick them out. So there are channels that I just listed the channel directory here. There are channels by topics. There's channels by functions. There's some casual channels like water cooler, and then a channel on investments. There's channels on tactical things like account mapping and co-selling. And then there's tons of regional channels now. As we become a much larger community, there are people who want to meet in their local cities. And as the market opens up and people can meet in local cities, they want to meet up for happy hours, or want to meet up for lunch, or even just want to meet up for brainstorming through issues. Those channels are available. You're always welcome to set up a private channel if you want for things that you need. But the official channels will always be in this document, and I'll actually send this document out to everybody. Now, as I close, I want you to know that this community exists for one specific reason: to help you with professional and personal success. We have done things like taken a few members and gone and met with the executive teams of another one of our member to help that executive team understand why partnerships is important and what are the things that the partnerships leader needs to feel supported in an organization, to be a contributing member of that organization. And so with that, I look forward to celebrating your success. If you have any questions, please ping Deanne Lascano inside the Slack community, or if you are not a current member yet, please go and send us an email at info@partnershipleaders.com. But I look forward to celebrating your success and hopefully meeting you in person.